videos, and it's a business, and it's
Yep.
probably one of the longer hour jobs that you can have with the least ROI that you can
Right.
have. And
Yep.
90% of your income is dependent upon other people and the success of what you do independently. And
Yep.
so I tell people all the time, when you hire an editor, you're not hiring a skill because you can learn the skill yourself. Anybody can. You're hiring your time back.
Hey, she's a beauty. Hey, she's a beauty.
Welcome to Tardux, podcast about content creators to share their experiences and life stories. Today I have a special guest, Nicky BraveEdits.
I love it.
Burns.
That's it.
Welcome to Tardux, man. I'm so happy you're able to join me.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I've been checking out all the recent episodes and everything, and I love what you got going on, man. I can tell you your heart's in it, so it's really cool.
I love these engagements, meeting the people in this community and hearing their stories and being able to share them and let people see who they are away from their normal day-to-day gaming environment and whatnot. So what I normally do, I started off with a few rapid questions to get the juices flowing. All right.
I was told I had to go through the burner here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Favorite vacation spot?
Oh, man, I'm 100% a mountains guy. Give me a cabin in a secluded area. I'm chilling.
Oh, nice. All right. Favorite song to play on the guitar?
Oh, man. So I used to be a metal guitarist, actually, so it's funny. So I love playing some old metal, but in college I kind of switched to like the folk vibe. So that's tough. That's a tough one.
Okay.
I got an answer. There's a band called August Burns Red that's a metal band.
Yeah.
And their lead singer turned into an acoustic folk artist, and his name is Dallas Green. So his folk group is called City and Color. And so I enjoy playing a lot of City and Color. There you go.
Oh, all right. Now, would you define that as Americana type music or folk?
Probably a blend of the two, because with this new modern push for folk bluegrass meeting rock and sometimes even hip hop, there's a blend of the two. But like I said, I just like picking strings. So.
Nice. All right, final question. Going out to your favorite place to eat, what are you eating?
Oh, Italian all the way. I love Italian. If somebody asks me, what would you eat for the rest of your life if you could pick one food, I always say pasta, because that kind of eliminates having to choose one food. I could have shrimp fettuccine one day, could have just basic spaghetti one day. So Italian restaurant, I'm good to go.
Awesome. All right, well, let's jump into it. So who is Nicky BraveEdits?
Nicky BraveEdits. It's funny, a man of many names. I spent 4 years growing the personal brand of BraveEdits, and recently did a rebrand of that, and I'll get into that. But I was a high school teacher. No way. and a wrestling coach. I was pretty deep into the wrestling coaching. I coached the national wrestling team for the state of North Carolina for many years. I was a high school coach, had many championships and champions, and I thought that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And when my first child was born, we decided that my wife would stay home. And obviously, you can't live off of a teacher paycheck. We know how teachers are treated in the country. Mm-hmm. And so I had to pick something up. And in college, I edited videos for fun. So I started doing that as a little makeup for my wife's salary, and met MonsterDFace, who brought me to the show. And things really blew up from there. But a lot of people wonder where BraveEdits came from. My old call sign, or my old gamer tag, was Brave 149, because my college mascot was the Braves.
Okay.
And I was a 149 weight class. And I was like, well, it's kind of like a dork thing to have numbers in your name on Twitch. And so I was like, well, what do? I edit. So Brave is a guy that edits. I became BraveEdits. But then the company, MOVMNT Digital, was developed. And I started having these large corporate meetings with people not in gaming. And it got really annoying explaining to non-gamers what it means to have an online presence with a name that's not your name. Like, I tried to look you up on Twitter, I didn't find anything, and I was like, oh, because on Twitter I'm BraveEdits. Well, what's that? Well, in the gaming space, and I had to go through the entire thing over and over again. So I decided my public persona on social media needed to be more relevant to me and my business. So I became Nicky MOVMNT, and the 3 years growing the clout or the brand of BraveEdits had to be transferred over. And still to this day, I'll go in somebody's chat and they'll be like, Nicky MOVMNT, who, what VIP or what mod do I have that's Nicky MOVMNT? And I'm like, it's Brave. And they're like, oh. So that's my background. That's where I came from, man. A teacher turned rogue. Wow.
So now back then, what did you start editing on? Did you in Final Cut, or were you always in Premiere?
I've always been a Premiere guy. I hopped around free softwares for a couple of years. Like, there's Movavi and like the free trial for 30 days. Once that runs out, you find a new email or a new software. So I was reteaching myself different softwares. And finally, once it became apparent that it was going to be an income source, I said, okay, I'll make the investment and just get the Adobe suite.
The big boy edition.
I had to.
Definitely. So what was your first step into the creative space? What were some of the first videos you were editing, like music videos or gaming videos?
So in high school, I was in a lot of bands, obviously, with the music. Yeah. And I was always the one that took care of like designing our merch or album covers, doing some of the mixing of songs, but the music videos for sure. I was doing the music videos. And then when it came time to reach out to colleges, I had to make highlight videos of sports. Yeah. And then when I became a coach, I had to do highlight videos for my kids and send them to colleges. And I was like, I need to make this look better than what other coaches are sending, where they just send, the clips put together. So I added some flair to them. And then once I finished coaching, I just didn't have a need to edit, and I abandoned it for like 2 or 3 years. But immediately when we needed some extra income, I knew that there was an avenue there with a skill set that a lot of people don't have. So I jumped into video games, and always been an FPS guy. It's funny, I'm kind of known as a Fortnite guy. Yeah. But I'm not a Fortnite guy. Like I play the game a lot. Yeah. And I enjoy the game, but it's not my game. It's mainly because Monster was my big break. And so him being the Fortnite guy, by association, I'm a Fortnite guy. But dude, I'm a Call of Duty guy through and through. I was Call of Duty all my life. And I love Tarkov. Markstrom, he got me into Tarkov. And I love CSGO, Valorant, just any FPS is kind of my vibe. So to see me jump into a third-party cartoony building game and making a career out of it, it's kind of funny.
Oh, that's too funny. So back to the creative piece. So did you go through school for any of the creative stuff, or was it just all self-taught?
All self-taught, 100%. Okay. I was me and my little laptop in high school. Yeah. And then me and my laptop at my teacher desk, YouTubing videos, how to do transitions and things. And then once it became a career path, or not even a career path yet, just a side gig, people would have requests for things that I didn't know how to do. And I would have to just every single time just find a way to learn it. And I wound up taking some of like the Adobe trainings, like getting certified and things like that, which was really helpful. But most of the time, I mean, I don't love school. I'm not one of those ones that's like, I'm one of those teachers. I used to have a motto. I said like, I came back to school to make you hate it less because I hated it so much. And so, but I was always a student, and so I really enjoyed learning new things. So if somebody reached out to me about a new game, I wouldn't just like learn how to edit those things. I would sit and watch 1,000 YouTube videos in that space and figure out what works and what doesn't, and then mold my abilities to do that. So all self-taught, man. It was a long journey.
Wow. So now back to the video games piece of it. So what was your earliest video game memory?
Man, I remember Sega Genesis playing Sonic and a game called Green Dog. And it was a beach guy with a frisbee for a weapon. He got sucked back into the Aztec times, and he was trying to find his way out. And of course, Pokemon on Game Boy Color and Kirby. Yeah. But yeah, man, Sega Genesis was my biggest. I do remember. See, I have older siblings, so we did have your Nintendo with like Ninja Gaiden and things like that, and Ninja Turtles, and like the original Marios. But if I had to say like what was my system coming up, Sega Genesis, transition to Super Nintendo, transition to Nintendo 64. But I mean, I was a Sonic kid, man. I was running everywhere.
So now, when did you jump to PC gaming then? Or was there a transition from like PlayStation or Xbox to PC, or you just sort of, because you were editing, PC gaming was, yeah.
Yeah, I never had a loyalty, like, the whole Xbox versus PlayStation.
Right, yeah.
I just had whatever console was on sale on Black Friday. And so at the time when I started editing and stuff, I was just an Xbox gamer with a laptop that edited it on my laptop.
Yeah.
And then when the production value for what was expected of me increased, and I realized like I got to go into the games and record things, and I was like, I'm about to get a computer. And then I was still for like 4 months just editing on my computer because I got a really nice computer, editing on the computer. And when I was done editing, headset off, go get my Xbox, But then I was like, man, I'm not relevant because I'm not a like online gamer like that. And so I made the switch. I remember making the switch, and it was miserable for three months.
Keyboard
learning
and mouse control.
Yeah, man. And it was worth it though, because now I'm cracked, man. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm awful. I'm a boomer, dude.
I'm more of a boomer. He's gonna be 50 soon, so yeah. So hang on.
Well, hey, you're handsome, so I hope to be there.
So now, how did you end up meeting Monster?
That's one of my funniest stories ever. So I've always been a fan of him. I listened to his podcasts and things like that. I knew he had like a business mindset. And so I appreciated him more than other people in the space, not talking down on them, but just his further vision. And so I always followed his podcast and stuff. Never knew he streamed, and wound up finding his stream and became active in his stream. And at the time I was editing for like 3 small creators. And I didn't know, I still was like early, didn't know anything about YouTube and thumbnails and things like that.
Yeah.
And he was going through and just like showing some of his thumbnails and stuff like that. And he saw my name was BraveEdits. He's like, you're an editor too? You make thumbnails? I was like, yeah, of course I make thumbnails. He's like, oh, you should send me one. I sent him a thumbnail, and you'd think he would like just instantly toss me out. Yeah. So what I used to do for thumbnails was I would Google what the image of what I was looking for. So like it was some kind of Fortnite video about a certain type of loot in a treasure chest. Yeah. And so I Googled Fortnite opening chest image, and I found a really cool zoomed up image of a guy running to a chest, and the chest was open. And so obviously that was my favorite thumbnail because all the rest of them were just like slapped PNGs, but I found that sick shot and I was like, dude, no way. And I made a thumbnail of it. So that's the one I sent him. Yeah. Turns out that was his image.
Oh, shit.
And he was like, wait, yo. And he went like, just to make sure I knew it was his image, he went into his files on his computer and found the unedited version of that particular screenshot and pulled it up and just roasted me for the rest of the stream in a friendly way. Cause like I've been in his community, but he was just like letting me have it.
Wow. That's crazy.
But then like 2 weeks later, he started talking about how he did everything himself. Mm-hmm. He got from where he was to where he is like solo. Yeah. He's like, but I'm looking to lighten the workload. And he wasn't telling his chat to find somebody in chat. He was just saying like, I'm probably going to invest in like maybe finding an editor or something, blah, blah, blah. And I was there and I just shot him a DM and I was like, hey man, if you want to lighten the workload, I'm down to help out. I'm not like amazing or anything, but I'm totally down. Didn't expect to hear back in the DMs because at that time he was still MonsterDFace and I was just little BraveEdits. Man shot me back an instant and we got in a call that night, hired me.
Wow.
And I was like, yikes. And what's funny is if you were to see the video I did the week before to my first video, miles of production value increase, not because he asked for it, but because I studied his videos and was pulling all-nighters to make sure that I did what he needed to do. And it's funny, I look back now in the videos that I edited for him, I laugh at, because like, man, those are so bad. And I can't believe it took me an entire night to do that. I can make that video in 30 minutes now. But I remember in your podcast, actually, he was like, yeah, and I hired Nicky, and he kind of like got quiet. It was like, I threw him to the wolves, and it was rough. It's because the week after he hired me, he got booked to go to Egypt for 10 days. And he was like, I'm not going to be able to stream. So I want to pump out like a video a day. So I had a week to make 10 videos. And at that time, I was pulling all-nighters while full-time teaching.
Oh, shoot.
So it was like a week where I literally slept like an hour a day, but I got him all of his video because they had to be done before he left. Because at that time he just met me, didn't want to trust me with uploading perms. I had to send them to him before he left. And after I did that, I guess I kind of proved myself. And he was like, "Yo, Nicky's built a little different." And we've been ride or dies ever since.
Oh, that's fantastic! Holy.
So yeah, I stole from him.
Yeah,
He hired me. Oh man.
So have you found a lot has changed since you first started editing to today, like techniques or just the software's improved so much?
I will never give credit to the software. The software crashes and burns on a daily basis. But I have developed a reputation of speed. There'll be times I'm watching one of my clients' streams. They'll do something, and 10 minutes later, I send them a full edited version of that clip to release on socials, like almost instantly. Because like when people ask me what they should learn with editing, my first thing is always hotkeys. Like learn hotkeys, because instead of having to click on the file, right click it, go over, click your chop tool, select on the time of where you want to chop and do that. You could just hold these 4 keys and click once and boom, it does it. I've learned and memorized 1,000 of them. So now I used to do editing streams. If you watched me, I was just like a maniac and I'm just like talking to chat, chilling. But if you look at my screen, it's like, so I think speed would be the biggest thing. Obviously the production value has gone up, but
yeah,
I value myself on speed and I didn't have a choice. Monster forced my hand. I had to be fast.
Oh man, that's crazy. So now you play some Fortnite. Would you say you play a lot of Fortnite, or have you put a lot of time over the years into Fortnite?
Absolutely. If you look in the last 4 years, that's the game that's gotten the most of my time.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's more like I play it to help clientele or friend creators do what they're trying to do for a video or things like that. Yeah. So I'll be in like Squatting Dog's chat and he's trying to do something and I'll hop in and like be his partner in doing that. Or the Bonzai Bros, I'll hop in and do something with them. Or you saw Nerd Out. Not name dropping, but just I'll be in my friends' chats and they're like struggling to get something done content wise. And I'm good enough at the game where I can hop in and help. But if I have a choice, like in my free time, if there even is such a thing, I usually don't select to play Fortnite. You know what I mean?
Now, do you think them pulling out the building aspect of it and having just sort of like a normal FPS style of an option that helped them do that?
I do. A lot of people expected it to like create a divide. Yeah. And I think before you had competitive and public is where you went for fun and competitive is where you went for serious like skill improvement. Yeah. And at the pro level, they just look at it as building is where you go for mechanic improvement and no build is where you go for fun. And you see a lot of the big creators came back because when they left Fortnite, they went to games like Apex, where it was movement based, rotational based. And for gamers like me and you, especially like with Tarkov, we're more about map presence, rotations, tactical adjustments, things like that. That's something that Fortnite never had to have. And I think it's something that you can't have a shooter game and not have. Name another shooter game that's not that is as forgiving as Fortnite, where it's like I can just run out in the open. Oh no, somebody shot at me. I'm good to go. Whereas now you got to think more tactfully, and I think it allowed a space for a new type of content. So marketing wise, there's a whole new type of content. It allowed for people that maybe did not get into Fortnite originally to give it a shot. It's like a brand new game. Okay, I'll give it a shot this time around. And then the last thing I'd say about it would be it created a space where pros don't feel like they have to take themselves so seriously, and content creators feel like they're on the same level as the pros, because there's a clear separation between, like I made the comment before, I can't play competitive because I can't put the time into the game that these other people have. I cannot get my skills to that point. And with building, it's like an endless ceiling. So taking that out, I can aim with the best of them. And I can outsmart you because that's what I've done my entire life. That can transfer over. But this building was new. So it kind of leveled the playing field a little bit. You see that in recent tournaments where people you haven't really heard of doing so well are now in the mix, kind of shuffled the cards a little bit. So I don't think it was a mistake. I think it was a good shakeup, like almost releasing a new game without getting rid of what previously was working.
Yeah, like even on the streamers that I watch, you know, in the Tarkov and hardcore first person shooter genre, I've seen them, you know, they're firing up Fortnite and they're playing it and they're, you know, for fun and without, you know, like that whole building element of it. And so it's I think I agree with you that it's done good for Fortnite and Epic because it's bringing more people over.
Right. And that's the thing is you're not just seeing the Fortnite community accept it. You're seeing new people come in. Like the biggest example that keeps popping out to me is 100 Thieves Hiko. He's a Valorant pro, not even Battle Royale, Valorant, this little arena shooter game, not little as a game, but like little map shooter game.
Yeah.
Literally just competed and did top 5 in a no builds tournament because he's a gamer and those skills transfer over. So now it's like you get all the fun of PUBG and H1Z1, but with your favorite Fortnite skins, items, loadouts, and maps. So they kind of allowed you to have what you enjoy in their game.
And this goes to another question. Why has Fortnite managed to sort of stay at that top level? You know, what has Epic done right to keep it so, you know, attractive for people to come and play it?
I think it's just that they changed the game. Before them, it was pretty unheard of to have a free-to-play game that was updated and managed regularly. And they're also one of the first games, because I think me being a Call of Duty guy, couldn't wait till December. Why? Yeah. The new Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
There's not a new Fortnite. You look forward to updates. And so it's like every 3 weeks, something is changing in the game. Now, there is the checks and balances of, that means you're going to have fluctuation, but your game's always going to be fresh. Like, they just added a new shotgun to the game yesterday. So now everybody wants to hop in and see what this gun's about.
Yeah.
It's like Call of Duty tried to do similar things. Halfway through the year, they released like a pack with a couple new maps or they changed the gun metas and things like that. But it's just unheard of to see a game so well maintained. Not only that, but it's kind of an unfair advantage. It became so popular in today's day and age, especially during pandemic when social media is so big. And Fortnite's one of the few games where their online social presence was so tight knit with the community. Yeah. So like it felt like the first time that you were actually communicating with the people that made the game. And it almost felt like you had a say in the game. Whereas Call of Duty, we look back and we're like, what's your favorite Call of Duty? This one. Rank them top 5. Easy. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
You don't hear anybody saying, rank your top 5 favorite Fortnite updates.
Right.
Nope. They just say, what's your favorite weapon? And there's a list of 40. What's your favorite skin? There's over 1,000.
Yeah.
So it kind of has the unfair advantage that it came out in a time when the conditions of the world and where we are technologically, they feel almost an obsession or a connection to the game that wasn't viable beforehand. Yeah. And so they got to be the first to do so.
Right. Oh, cool. Now, speaking of Call of Duties, which is your favorite Call of Duty?
Oh, I like one that nobody says. Everybody's like, oh, the Black Ops or the zombies. And dude, I was a Ghosts guy. Oh. I love Call of Duty Ghosts. I love the way it felt. I love the user interface. I love the weapons. Nothing better than taking a like an M28 and making it like hit like a sniper but shoot like a semi-auto. You know what I mean? Just pop, 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 pop. And I loved it. Memorized the maps, dude. I had all the spawns down. And it might just be because that was like the game when I was in like high school competing with friends. And that was the first time I started doing like little tournaments and stuff. So I just have like a biased attachment to it because looking back, it was not the best game of them. But for me, that was my Call of Duty.
Yeah, so for me, it's Black Ops 2, but mainly because of people I played with. You know, we
exactly
do Hijack, and we would do gun game, but we would do the gun game that if you get stabbed, you'd go back 10 spaces.
Yeah, I missed that.
These gun games would last 45 minutes, an hour, and it was just like endless. And it's just but playing with your buddies. That's right. Why it was so much fun.
Well, Black Ops 2 definitely has the best maps in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think hands down you can't beat Hijack specifically is probably my favorite Call of Duty map of all time. But I agree with that because I think Ghosts was one of the first Call of Duties that I really like dove into playing online. Whereas before that, it was more like the homies would come over or my dad and me or whatever. And so even though I've played better Call of Duty since then,
Yeah.
I always attribute my love for Call of Duty to hopping online and playing Ghosts. So
Yeah.
I think that I agree 100%. That gives me my bias towards it.
So you just said playing games with your dad. So talk about that. So he's probably, how old are you? You're lower 30s?
31.
All right. So Sega, probably, maybe some gaming with dad on Sega, or
Yeah, 100%. My dad is the reason video games were around. My mom,
no way.
she played like Tetris and Tetris
Yeah.
Sphere and Dr. Mario Party, like,
Yeah.
you know. So my mom did play games, but my dad was all about it. It was me and him in the line getting the games. And even now, if I go home, he doesn't play online, but if I go home, we'll hop in and do Call of Duty and stuff like that. He loves the campaigns and stuff, you know. He was a big Medal of Honor guy.
Yeah.
Loved the Medal of Honor series. And before that, Metal Gear Solid and Splinter Cell. And before that, he loved Sonic as well. So
that's cool. Yeah, like for me, we're too old for that whole video game piece of, but I did it with my kids, and I remember, playing Lego Star Wars with my 6-year-old or my 5-year-old, and just
it's funny. That's how I got my wife into gaming.
Oh, no way!
I was like, "Here's a game where you can't lose."
Right? Yeah.
Lego Star Wars. This is how I introduced my kids to it. That's how I introduced my wife to it.
Oh, shoot, that's too funny.
That's great. I can't wait for my kids. I did it way too. I have 3 kids. I have a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and an 8-month-old.
All right.
And literally, when my oldest turned 2, I got him like the little Super Nintendo plug-in thing, and didn't care at all.
No.
And I was like, oh man. But now he's like, I want to go upstairs with you, Daddy. I want to play with you. And there's even streams where you see him on my lap, and I have like a fake headset for him, and he thinks he's doing everything because he gets to hold this, and he's on my lap holding this, and I'm just over here like, you play, Daddy's gonna do some work, and I have a random thing on this screen, but I'm over here playing, and he's, I got him, Dad, I got him,
That's fantastic. Yeah, I've got 3 kids as well, and we went through, because of me, they got into gaming, so we did like Minecraft when they were 6. Minecraft has been a game that has just like, even my middle, who's my son, 18. Still, they'll still fire up Minecraft and play with the guys, and it's just such a game that has lasted for so long.
Well, it's funny is what's making these dynasty games, these long games, is the ability for creativity. Games where you can build your own maps. One of the better Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Well, everybody knows that 1 is the OG, but 2 introduced building your own parks and stuff, and it blew up. Minecraft, you can do whatever the heck you want, so it doesn't matter how old you are. When you're younger, you just want to build SpongeBob's pineapple. But now that you're older, you want to get, bunk bed wars or whatever it's called. Like, you can play Call of Duty in Minecraft. You can play you can do whatever you want. I have friends that are older than me that like they are competitive Minecraft. Like, I've never played, but I'm not even like into it. But when I watch them play, I'm like, yo, I want to try that. Like, I'm down,
That's
so
cool.
it's just that sense of being able to pour creativity into the game. Fortnite, you can, not even outside of just making your own map. When Fortnite first blew up, it was all about building your stupid, not very like smart base, but it looks cool on top of the highest point, So anything you can pour creativity into, it's gonna succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was chatting with Markstrom the other day, and he said that you worked with the Marksmen, the Marksmen group, Deadly, and the boys. So how did that, all through Monster, or?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So I give like literally 99% of my success to Monster for sure, because he brought me on, and I was working for like 2 other clients for free, just trying to up my skills. And one client that was giving me like a couple $100 a month, and that to me was my side cash. And then Monster gave me like a legitimate pay and everything, and I was like, whoa, this is a thing here. And he was like, well, what's your goal? I was like, I would love to be home with my kids and do this full time, And he was like, well, we just gotta, get you a portfolio built and this, that, and the other, get you your name out there, and he just, the whole 9. And he introduced me to Markstrom because he knew I liked similar games. We both live in North Carolina. We look alike a little bit, but we're just the same vibe. And also Monster was in Team Marksmen, and he was like, hey man, I know we've been talking about, the socials. We'd like to produce more content on the socials. You got to go with my guy Brave. He's awesome. And we talked about it, and Markstrom loved it. And so I ran their social media for like 2 years. And through that, I started helping Markstrom himself on his YouTube channel for a while. Helped Deadly with a couple things. Deadly Slob with some stuff. And became good friends with all of them. Katie Rue, I helped her with her GTA stuff. Peebs, I was his editor for like 6 months. Like everybody on that team, I wound up working with, and it really boosted my portfolio to where I would go and reach out to new clients.
Yeah.
And I had this whole crew behind me willing to vouch.
Yeah.
And I just show them like, here's my content. And what's cool is just by editing for that one team, it looked like I've edited for so many people because I edited for the team, but in my portfolio, I had clips from all these different people. And so I'm super thankful for the opportunity to have worked with Marksmen, because it boosted my portfolio. It taught me business sense. It forced me to study like growth on social media, because I had to be tactful and when I posted, how I posted, and all of that. So it was a whole new dynamic to editing, because I'd never done that management side of things.
Yeah.
And but the combination of working with Monster and then working with Markstrom and the Marksmen developed me into the full package editor. And not only that, but there's not a lot of editors that know how to do all of the softwares. And the reason I did that is because I was like, if I'm gonna make a career in this, I gotta know how to do it all. Because the only editors that I knew in the space were like Whips for Tim the Tap Man and Gary for Nick Mercs, and they do it all. I didn't know that there were thumbnail artists. So like an editor makes a video and then finds a thumbnail. I didn't know you outsourced all the pieces of the pie. I thought one person did it all. So I learned all of it. And so now, like whenever I talk to a client, they're like, okay, sick. Let me check my budget, because I still have to hire somebody to do thumbnails. I was like, oh no, that's included. And they're like, what? Like, yeah, well, I need to find somebody that's going to do my SEOs and upload it. No. Like, I'm going to do that too. They're like, well, okay, but it was from going through the grinder with Monster and with Markstrom and all of it's just, and the standard these guys hold their stuff, themselves to. Like, it's almost like I had to grow up real quick. You know what I mean? I couldn't just put out little Fortnite montages anymore. I had to put out movies,
Well, because because it seems like to a lot of the people I've talked with, all these streamers, that's always, it's been their baby. So now they're turning their baby, their brand, their name over to you, and you've got to have that same caliber that they expect, because I got to think it's so tough for these people to do that.
Well, especially because 90% of the people I've worked with were solo people that grew themselves to that point. Like Monster, he was already at over 100,000 subs when he picked me up. Never had an editor before. Yeah, he did that. Markstrom, a huge presence in the Tarkov space, not just for like his YouTube and his social platforms, but like his stream is really good. His charities he does, and he just already had this developed thing, and he did that. And so now them getting to a point where they understand they need some of this income to be passive. They need some of this production to be managed out and delegated. So it's like that ripping off the Band-Aid of you're not just a little guy making it anymore. You are Markstrom, but really you run the Markstrom business.
Yes.
You are MonsterDFace, but really you are the owner of the MonsterDFace brand, and no one person can do it alone. And there's only a few people I can name that are doing it alone and doing it really well. So yeah, they already to have that success and then trust somebody else with it. That's really tough. And both of them did it quick. He met me in his chat for stealing his content and he hired me. And then honestly, most of my business for the next year came from vouchers from Monster. His buddy Sancho hired me. I still work with I'm Sancho's editor, and he's my longest person. Sancho loved the work, started voucher. It's a chain reaction.
Yeah.
So every single stepping stone, every single person, but I always go back to 100% MonsterDFace and then Markstrom with the team Marksmen for sure.
Oh, wow. And all of the streamers I've talked to, the ones who are, full-time, top tier, I asked them what's their biggest thing that they would change if they, went back in time, and they said they would have gotten an editor so much sooner, and that would have helped them so much, so much freed up their time to focus on their brand and whatnot.
Well, but there's a lot more that goes into being a streamer or a content creator than people realize. You think they get paid to play video games for 4 to 12 hours a day. Yeah, but most of the time when these guys shut off the stream, now they got to go back through that stream and do all these things. They got to respond to emails for partnerships and affiliations and brand deals, and it's a business, and it's probably one of the longer hour jobs that you can have with the least ROI that you can have, and 90% of your income is dependent upon other people and the success of what you do independently. And so I tell people all the time, when you hire an editor, you're not hiring a skill, because you can learn the skill yourself. Anybody can. You're hiring your time back, And so sure, there's a certain tier of being called a creative, because there's creators and then creatives. Being a creative, there's a certain tier where it takes a long time to get to that point. But in general, for what will do the job, you can do it yourself. You can learn that. But the amount of time, think about it. I'm working with Markstrom. He finishes a stream. He knows that he had, 2 scav raids that need to be turned into a video. Now he has to go back in and, chop them out, highlight them, skim them down, get them below a certain time so that people has to mold it into YouTube's crazy cookie cutter and then make it interesting the best he can. Then he can do the stuff for Team Marksmen. Then he can respond to his partnership emails. Then he can reach out and whatever. Then he can study what he wants his next content to be, and then he can go be a husband.
Right.
Whereas now he ends stream, gets up from his computer and goes and lives. And so the biggest asset of having an editor outside of just professional hands and eyes on your content is that's literally the motto that we run by with MOVMNT Digital is be a creator, let us handle the rest. And so there's a lot of the rest.
Oh yeah, and even since I started this, you always need to be engaged on all the social media platforms, which is a whole nother time suck, responding to tweets, posting responses, and it's just across the board.
Yeah, it's the blessing and the curse. We talked about it when we talked about Fortnite. That today's world is so online, and social media is so like a part of life. It's not just like, I remember like MySpace and Instant Messenger. You had like that time after dinner where you hopped on for a little bit and checked your stuff and then got off. Now it's just like you wake up, you clear your notifications and do your responses, and then you're notified throughout the day. You're scrolling and checking relevancy of different things that you enjoy, posting things that make you relevant. It's just from start to finish, you are you IRL and you are you online, and you have to take care of both equally. And even more so when you're a creator. So it's like you have to live 2 lives almost,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So now, you also stream. When did you start streaming?
That was another monster idea.
Okay.
I had used to want to stream because I've always been a Twitch guy. I've always watched live streams, even like as long as Twitch has been on Twitch, I've always watched them. And I used to want to be a streamer and just never had the capabilities or anything like that. Well, once editing took off, I was like, oh, I'm going to be this instead. And I remember talking to Monster about it one time randomly. He's like, well, why don't you do both? He's like, you could even stream your editing. He's like, that's double dipping business wise. People are going to be cheering for you and stuff and subscribing to watch you do stuff that you're already getting paid for. And he's like, and not only that, if you want to be it, go for it, do it. You game too, and you're good at games, like, and you've got the presence for it. And I was like, I don't know. So I started it up, and the amount of support from my clientele and friends that I've made in the space, I got affiliate like that, and it's like every day I was getting rated by some major creator. I was like, this is sick. Like, so I had like an unfair advantage to most people's path on Twitch. But I was like, this is great. I literally feel so when I was done work, I'd start streaming, and then I made streaming my work, and it became a pivotal part of I've got to get my private work done by this time so I can go live and do my non-private work at this time. And it became like hanging out with the homies. And so And now I rarely stream creative stuff because most of my work is private now because I'm working with larger people. But what's cool is most of my streams I'm gaming with larger people, and they're people that I call friends. And I think a big part of it was they knew that I was genuine, and I was never after anything they had or their clout or anything like that. I just genuinely enjoy seeing people do well and progress. And so it's not easy to find, creatives and editors and things like that that aren't hoping for a shout out or hoping for. I've never once asked for any of that, and it became like visible when I started streaming, and they all were rallying behind my stream, no questions asked. And then like even recently when we had a family medical situation with one of my sons, the amount of I didn't realize that people knew me as much as they did, and just the amount of support that came in, not even just financially, and that came from streaming and social presence. And like I got more online friends than I do IRL friends, and I'd rather hang out with them anyway.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Stay at home and in your comfort of your own home. Monster's brain never stops, does it?
No,
man. That's crazy.
He's got smoke coming out of his ears at all time, but I'm glad you don't know me that well, because I think that's why we did so well, because mine doesn't either. And hence why I started out stealing thumbnails and grew to running a successful business along his side, and I think that's part of why he was full send, like, I'm going to make this guy make it, because he knew we had the same mindset, that growth mindset, I guess you would say. I don't know. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I read a lot of books, and there's one called Extreme Ownership.
Oh yes.
Yeah, love
Joko
it.
is
Joko. I love it, and it just talks about like always looking for ways to move forward and progress. He references where he had a successful mission on taking out the target, but it didn't go how it was planned on paper. So while people were celebrating him, he was furious. Because he's so focused on, making plans, executing plans, and using them to progress forward. And so I'm always in self-reflection. Even if I got nothing going on, I'm checking what I did last week, because I want to see where we can improve next time something like that comes in. And me and Monster are in calls like every other day, or texting each other, like, what do you think of this? And always trying to figure out ways to grow. And that's kind of also why MOVMNT became a one-stop shop, because we were just editing. And then we were like, man, but if we dipped into this, and this and this, and now we literally have like a crew of 30 people that can do every single piece. And so we're never full. We're never like, we are literally even now looking at other things that we have not offered yet. And we're like, I think we can pull that off. We're two of the same mind, but I think that's why we became such good friends.
Oh man. The other Joko's a good one. The Extreme Ownership is a really great book. The other one I like is Marcus Luttrell's Team Never Quits. That is, some fantastic guests on that pod.
We're cut from the same cloth. I could talk about these guys all day.
Yeah. So I popped on your stream there the other day, and it just seems like a chill, laid back. Everybody's just having a good time, and I think you were playing with the Bonzai Brothers or Bonzai Boys or something.
Bonzai Bros, the twins. God,
those guys are freaking hyped up. Wow.
Oh man, you should try editing their videos and having the subtitle when they're speaking.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, they've become some really close friends too. I was friends with them already. Yeah, I met them through, I think, SanchoWest, because Sancho creates content with them frequently and is good friends with them. And they are super transparent, and so like instantly just love your work, you're great, this is awesome, and I became a mutual really quick. They don't think of themselves above anybody, and they started just like shouting out some of my work and stuff. And so I still do it to this day. I just did it last night for a creator named Alexa. I'm in chat, I see a funny moment, I'm not doing anything, I clip it, I edit it, and I send it to him. And I'm just like here, do with this what you want, but I thought it was too funny not to get edited, And I did that like 2 or 3 times in their chat, and they were like, okay, like this is happening. And so I became their guy for about 6 or 7 months. I was their guy. And to this day, we're super close friends. Sean even made the joke. He's like, if I ever find a woman and I get married, you'll be in my wedding if I ever get to that point. you know. But we've grown from just being friends of friends to that through video games and through the creative space. So it's incredible.
Excellent. So now, one of the things I saw on your Twitter profile is that you cast. What you know? What game? Fortnite games or
anything? I cast anything. I consider myself a specialist for first-person shooters, but a lot of my work that comes through is Fortnite because it comes through Practice Server, and Monster. I've been on the docket for Apex before. I would love to cast Valorant. I love Valorant. That's like my obsession right now because Call of Duty for me is kind of in a hiccup. But no, I enjoy it. I consider myself like an analytical type that has the ability to put out that energy that's needed. But I cast whatever. Okay. Probably wouldn't cast Minecraft. I just don't know enough. If I know enough about the game, I'll cast it.
All right. Well, this brings us over to MOVMNT, which I've been wanting to talk about. So first of all, what is MOVMNT?
MOVMNT is an online studio for all things creation. It's still funny in my IRL life. People are like, "What do you do? Like, what is it that you do?" They see my computer's like bat layer looking with all the screens and lights. And they're like, "How does that work? Like, what do you do there that makes it to where you can just have the life you have?" And we are literally a team of like, I don't want to use the word org, but think about how orgs are, where they have a competitive team for every single game. We have a team of creatives for every single thing that you could need. So we have, all these thumbnail designers, all these 3D animators, all these 2D animators, all these website designers, all these musicians, all these, video editors, all these emote artists, like anything that you could possibly need. We've got teams of it, and people contact us 100%. And because our goal is, my thought process was, so many of my friends were going to Fiverr, and Fiverr is so hard to find like somebody that's reliable. It's affordable, but you're not getting like below what you paid for because they just pump out stuff, or they're from a different country where they're not worried about relationship, or they're just here to do your thing, send it, and never hear from you again. And I was like, but it's so hard because they have to go through that scary process to get the video. Then they have to go through that scary process again to get the thumbnail. Then they have to go through that scary process again when they need their emotes or their overlays. Or I was like, wouldn't it be great if there was just one place that you trusted that already had people that you knew were going to do it right? And instead of having to talk to 6 different people, you just talk to one person and they manage it for you. And so you look at like people like Ninja and things like that. They have that. And when people are like, oh, well, yeah, they can afford that. They have a manager that talks to his creative team and keeps his content going. Well, when you come to MOVMNT Digital, we offer those packages where it's like, hey, what are you looking for? I want my YouTube more consistent. I'd like to post twice a week. Sick. Do you have a thumbnail designer? No, I do not. Awesome. And do you need anything for your live stream? No, I'm good. Okay, sick. I go and I find a thumbnail designer that's of their style, and I find an editor that's of their style, and they now have their own creative team. And then I put a project manager on it, and they don't have to build relationships with the editor or thumbnail artist, because at some points they may change. Like the editor might be sick and we let another editor come in so we don't miss a beat. Their relationship is with their project manager. So no matter what, any needs they have, they talk to one person. That's their new Fiverr. They send a DM to their project manager, and it's almost like you're paying us to go through Fiverr for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We already have the trusted people for you. So literally the one-stop shop to make your job easy, so that you, like we said earlier, you can just stream and have fun.
Yeah. It's actually one of my questions I was going to ask is, what is the perfect client? But any client really that's in this creative space is a perfect client, from small to the full everything. Yeah,
I tell people that all the time too. I think it gets intimidating when you say like, our plan is to have a team behind you, and then people are like, out of budget. I'm not there yet. Whatever. But we have people of all levels, and we have people looking for all different things. So we have some people where this is their full-time job, their rates are set. We have some people that are just doing it because they enjoy doing it, and they're making dumb money elsewhere. So this is they just want to help out. And so I'm like, budget aside, we can make that work with whoever we put on your team. And then size wise, we've worked with people that are in some of the like top 3 orgs in the entire gaming space. And then we've worked with people who stream for 2 people and are working to get to affiliate.
Yeah.
It just is a matter of where you are, what you need. As long as you have the vision to grow and the heart for content, then we have what you need to get there. And we don't care how big or small the goal is, because whatever your goal is big to you where you are. So we try to look at your goal through your eyes and then chase it just as hard as you are with the skills that we have that you don't.
Very cool. I did not. I just, when I looked at your website, like you said, it's intimidating. It's like, wow, okay, only the big boys are coming into, getting taken care of. But then you have packages that are fit for anybody.
Yeah, yeah. And we even try to make sure on our website, like when we have like a little scroll thing that shows different creators we've worked with.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have some people on there that you got to flex a little bit. We've got some creators who have millions on different platforms. But I made sure, right next to them is somebody that just hit affiliate last week.
Yeah.
Why? Because we're all equal in this space. We're just trying to grow and entertain. So what do numbers and analytics say about your worth and your value as a human being?
Right. That's good. Now, with that being said, what has been the highlight for MOVMNT? Like looking back and how long the company's been, what was like, wow, I can't believe we got this one, or what, we hit it out of the park for this.
So our recent success, so G Fuel started doing the G Fuel Madness, where they grabbed 200 creators and they put them through the grinder for like 3 weeks, where they give them new challenges every 3 days, like a video about this, a TikTok about this, 10 gifts that demonstrate this, create your own flavor, your own shaker. Well, we did Larry's campaign last year and he won. And then we got pulled in to do Nomi's campaign this year. And no offense to Larry, this year was a little bit harder because with Larry's, it was like 3 rounds. It was like from 200 to 50 to top 3 to win.
Yeah.
And for this year, it was like 100 to 50 to 30 to 10 to 5 to 4 to 2 to, and we got to the finals again. And we got to do some really cool projects. I enjoy the projects where I have to put together a big team. Yeah. So like on those G Fuel ones, we have to have an animator, an illustrator, a 2D designer, a 3D modeler, because we have to like make the shaker. We have to have an illustrator make the label, then a 2D animator like wrap the tub, and then 3D guy rolls it, and then it goes to a video editor to place it inside of the video. I love those big projects, and through those projects, we've gotten some really cool like corporate clientele that we've enjoyed working with. We got to work with Boom TV on when Halo first came back, and they were the first Halo tournament. We handled like the media scenes for that tournament. And so I enjoy the clientele by all means, but the big W's are when we're trusted with these large corporations come in and they're like, we've seen what you've done. We want you to, do that with us as well. So
that's awesome. That explains why Baddie was doing all this G Fuel stuff. I was like, why is he in a bathtub pouring? Like,
he was doing the madness.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So now what is on the roadmap for MOVMNT this year? What are, some things you want to transform or that you can, that you want to share?
Oh, so we, obviously just growth. We definitely want to increase. We have a really good system put in place for getting work and getting clientele and establishing relationships. I really appreciate, like in our company, I always say it's kind of two-sided. There's the side outside looking in where we're a place where you come to get deliverables. But then I also consider us like an agency where we pull in and recruit these creatives and we find them work, And so I really, I'd like to see, I think our team's big enough. I think we offer enough things. I'd like to see more of my internal employees reaching and that might sound selfish, but reaching their dream and being stay at home and climbing. And so I usually when you ask somebody what's new for the company, what do you like to do? Most of them say like big stuff coming and all these things. Whereas for me, it's like internally, I just want to see more people get the shot that I got. That's part of the reason I started the company. Part of it was I was editing for 12 people and losing sleep and couldn't do it anymore. So I had to seek help. But the other part of it was like, I want to be monster to some other people. Yeah. And so this year, I would love to see a bunch more of my creative team where all they do is movement.
Yeah.
And so I know it's an internal thing, but that's cool. That's what I hope to see. because we're already killing it. I don't see what we can add or grow, man. I'm kidding. But no, we've got some cool things in the mix that I can't talk about, but we definitely are excited for this year. This year specifically, even with our like finance people, our projections are insane things I never thought I'd ever see. So I'm really happy with how things are going, and I'll never be satisfied, but I'm also not selfish.
That's good. Awesome, man. Cool. All right, so let's move over to some content creators. Who do you like to watch? Who's under the radar that you think people should go check them out?
Oh man, that's tough because I'm in so many different moods.
Yeah,
it just depends. So like Valorant, I love watching. Any game that I say, obviously the big creators, right?
Yeah.
So if I say Valorant, I'm gonna say I like watching Hiko. I like watching Nade Shot. I like watching Trig. But I also enjoy watching smaller creators and my friends. Like Doxology is a lot of fun playing Valorant. Why Hello Stacy, Cute Noob, and they're killing it in creation. Like I've seen their TikToks go from 1,000 to like 50K in 3 months because they're full sending. So it depends on the game. Obviously my heart went to Valorant immediately.
Yeah.
But if I was gonna just sit down and watch streams, you cannot beat the content in the creator squads on Fortnite with Squatting Dog, SanchoWest, Headshot Chick, the Bonzai Bros, like that little crew. Yeah. If I'm gonna watch Call of Duty, you can't beat Larry Fishburger. That is a vibe. Tarkov, the homies.
Yeah.
Baddie, Markstrom, Deadly, Cotton, Peebs. Yeah. Well, Pep now, sorry.
Yeah.
That whole crew, man. So I don't know. I have too many. Don't ask me that again.
All right. Nope. So now, what advice would you have for somebody who's jumping into they're going to be an editor and trying to come into the space? You said shortcuts is a big thing for people to learn.
I think what I pride myself on, and it made the process longer, but it made it to where it was a fast slope, whereas most editors kind of grow and grow and grow and grow. Whereas me, I hit like a fast swoop. Is one, I spent a lot of time making sure that my craft was good by studying others. A lot of people just like Google how to do certain things and then do it and then start pumping out videos for people. They lose the client and then they find somebody else at their level. So always be increasing, be humble enough to know that other editors are better and learn from them and adapt. Because I've been editing so long that things that were awesome that I've mastered are irrelevant. And now I have a skill set that I don't even need anymore. Yeah. Right. So the adaptability. But as a brand, you've got to have the humility. You can go all the way through my entire socials, all the way back, and I never like posted like, oh, dope, I get to be the editor for so and so now, and blah blah blah, because we know what that's for. Yeah, I've never been like, check out this awesome edit I did. I never boasted on myself. You know what I mean? It's a scripture thing. I know not everybody's, a Christian and whatnot, but there's, scripture that says like let the praises of what you do come from the mouths of others. Yeah. And I think that translates across any religion. And that's something I've always kind of lived by, is let the praises of what you do come from the mouths of others. And so I tried to make it to where my social presence, which is so important in today's day and age, was not self-centered and not about myself. If I shared opportunities with people, like I got to play with so-and-so and there was content to be made and it was shareable, then I would. But my favorite thing to share was like when I was working with just Foxy, and she would, somebody brought me up in chat and she was like, oh, Brave's one of the hardest working people I know. And his heart is so kind, that I'm sharing. Yeah. But if somebody's like, oh, Brave is absolutely goated at editing, nobody can edit. Like, it's just ridiculous. I'm not going to be like, see, told you. Right. Like, no. So really figure out the brand you want to have, and also be super selective in your clientele. It's easy to just say yes because you want the money. Yeah. I have always been super selective in who I've worked with. It had to be people with the same mindset, same passion. And it's proven to make it to where I can't name one client that I've had that I've never ended with a client on bad terms. There was always reasons behind, and not one of them could I not message right now and have an awesome conversation with. And it's because, and that's not the case with everybody, but it's because, one, I always did my job, but two, I selected people that I knew I could have a good non-toxic relationship that didn't seem like strictly business. And
Yeah.
I think that helps with the creator too. You know, it'll make the vibe way better. It'll improve longevity. And yeah, so yeah, humility, always be growing in your craft, and be selective and patient. Because when you get to the point where you are like where I am, you don't want to be here at the expense of a lot of bridges burned,
Right.
or like, oh, I've edited for 70,000 different people. I mean, I've edited for a lot, but I can name them all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where you want to be.
That's great advice, man. So now you're walking away from your computer. If you even have, shut it down, what are you doing? With the kids, the wife, what
Definitely the kids. Literally the kids. I've always been a go. When I first started, it was wake up, wrestling practice, teach, wrestling practice, home, play with kids, they go to bed, computer.
Yeah.
Now that I don't have those other obligations, and it took me a while, and it was my wife that made me do it. She made me set hours that I work, right?
Yeah.
So now when that time comes, I am dedicated to the kids. We are going outside.
Nice. Yep.
So we just got scooters for the boys yesterday and took them to the park, and I love it. There's nothing else I'd rather do, because I feel like a fat slob with how much I sit on my computer. And so anything outside, if I can find a sitter or a nanny, I'm taking the wife somewhere to eat and see a show.
Yeah.
And definitely a binge Netflixer when I can, which costs me a lot of sleep, because the only time I get to watch Netflix is after the kids are asleep. And I start a show and I look and it's 4 a.m. I'm like, crap, I got to get up in 3 hours. So yeah, outside for sure. Going outside.
Awesome. What's your recent show you just wrapped up or you binged?
We went through Outlander.
Yep.
We love Outlander, and then anything related to like the Breaking Bad vibe is really good. We love all of those types. And but yeah, Outlander's been consuming because it was like 4 seasons. It's one of those where each season has like 20 episodes. They're all an hour long. But Outlander was really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw on your social that you guys been down to Disney with the fam.
Yeah, we're psychopaths. We drove.
Oh, wow.
All 3 of us packed in the Tahoe.
Yeah.
All 5 of us, but like the 3 kids.
Yeah.
Packed in the Tahoe. Drove to Disney in Florida for 4 days, and came back, and everybody thinks that we're psychotic because of what we do with our kids.
Yeah.
We just don't hold back.
Yeah. No, you can't. That's awesome, man. Well, hey, I want to say thank you so much. This has been awesome. And actually, before I go, you got to shout out someone that we're going to get on the pod at some point. So who you thinking about?
I knew this was coming. I've done a lot of thought, and I was like, man, me and Monster have rabbit holed him towards the Fortnite stuff. And I even told you in the DMs, I was I'm not necessarily a Fortnite guy, but I am. And I was like, we got to get him back to Tarkov. So just recently met him. But Baddie, you got to get Baddie on here. His energy is absolutely insane. He just had a bunch of recent W's from a business side and a personal side.
Yeah.
And he's already a large presence, but he's just getting started. Super transparent, super passionate person, really kind heart. He's a psycho, so be ready for that.
I watch his streams, and it's like, I don't know where he gets that energy from, but yeah. All right, Baddie.
No clue.
You've been called out, man. BraveEdits is calling you out, man.
Love it.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you having me.
Hey, she's a beauty.